Welcome to the Slim CD presentation of PCI reduction solutions and techniques. I'm going to start with a little information about our company, which I've shown in a number of slides. I'm going to skip past that. The key to PCI reduction is to reduce your PCI footprint so that you're eliminating parts of PCI as being applicable to you. The more you eliminate, the simpler the PCI forms become to fill out. So every merchant must be PCI compliant, even if it means that they're outsourcing touching of the cardholder data, touching, storing, transmitting. So our goal is to simplify the PCI process for you by eliminating as many touch points as possible so that you're never touching, storing, or transmitting clear text cardholder data. So avoiding entry of the initial cardholder data on the merchant's computers or servers, and if you do have that entry in an environment such as encrypting hardware or a hosted payment page where the data is passing through your systems encrypted and thereby taking the systems out of PCI scope. Also, if you're going to store data, instead store tokens that represent card numbers for transactions instead of actually storing the card numbers themselves, and then your databases are out of scope. So to do that, we host the data for you. All the credit card data is in our hosted data storage systems, and the user-facing technologies that we provide, including web, mobile, and PAWS applications to enter the data, keeps your application software out of scope. Our tokenization comes back on every transaction so that you can store that data to process refunds or voids or even initiate future payments, and also repeat customer and recurring billing. Repeat customers when you're using a token from an old transaction to charge the card again. Recurring billing is when you're scheduling automatic billing that happens on a scheduled basis. So hardware encryption is done through hardware card reader devices that will encrypt the data, or even keypads, so you can key in the data in an encrypted fashion, and then when the data enters your computers, it's out of scope for PCI because you don't have the decryption keys. Therefore, it's considered a network network point. Your computer becomes a network point rather than an actual touching, storing, or transmitting of unencrypted cardholder data. So there's a variety of ways to accomplish these things. The hardware encryption is a big help if you're keying in or touching cardholder data. If instead you can send the data to the consumer's computer, then the consumer's computer is touching the data, not yours. So our secure sessions and hosted payment pages are a great way to present a page on the computer's computer, and that can be from a mobile app, from a PC or web browser, etc. We can use secure sessions with PAWS systems, with mobile, etc. The hosted JavaScript is a very interesting technology that allows you to place a page on your server that includes technology from our server, and what that technology does is it sends the cardholder data to us from your form, replaces the card number with a token, and that token is returned to your server, so your servers or your PAWS systems never see the actual cardholder data. Instead, it just sees the tokens. So we strongly recommend those two solutions for web-based systems for PAWSes. You can actually launch our applications. We have PAWS apps, the Slim CD for PC. We've got mobile applications, and those are true native applications that run on the computers, and they can control card swipes, card readers, chip readers, keypads, etc. And the keypads can encrypt for typed card numbers, keeping your PCs out of scope as well. So we can do end-to-end processor encryption. First of all, with us being one of the endpoints, all the data coming to us is encrypted, and it comes back to you as a token. So therefore, there are no parties involved in seeing the data because it's all encrypted. And we can also provide tokens from the processors themselves. So if your processor supports tokens, you'll get back two tokens, a Slim CD token and a processor token. You can store both of those to give you some redundancy. It's a great backup. So in our hosted data storage, we are a level 1 PCI level 1 service provider. We have on-site inspections every year. Our automatic services such as batch closures take care of transmitting the cardholder data at the end of the day, so you never have to touch it to close batches. And of course, our web services make all this information available to you. You can use the hosted data storage with the tokens, and it stores all the data in the cloud with us, but you can still keep the last 4 digits of the card, the type of the card, the cardholder's name, the expiration date. Everything you need to bill the card or maintain your customers is available to you. So we've got a number of presentations that touch on tokenization, and I encourage you to take a look at those. To take a quick look in a SlimCity website, here's our website. When you log into the SlimCity website, you can click on stats and we'll view the raw logs, for instance, and I'm going to search them for all transactions that happened last month on this account. And these ticket numbers here are returned to your software as the gate ID, but they appear here as the ticket numbers, and these are the tokens. So I can copy any one of these and I can use that in a VPAUSE. I picked the right one. This test account has a lot of different types of industries on it, so I'll paste it in here and I can look up all the cardholder data. So here's the data that was on file for that particular transaction. Even easier than that, I can simply click on this transaction and create a new transaction, create a recurring transaction. So create a new transaction does all that for me. As you can see, this card is already expired, but there are advantages from the user interface point of view of doing that. I have the ability to use old transactions without touching them, so that's how I'm avoiding PCI to find an old transaction and refund it or charge the card on file using our website, and software systems can do the same thing. So I've covered a lot about our tokenization. It is that 32-bit value that I've mentioned. It is useful on refunds. You can do refunds without it, but we strongly recommend using it for refunds because we won't let you refund more than the amount of the original charge. And for voids, you need to use it because you need to point to the exact transaction to void. You can create a token in our system without actually charging the card by using the load function, and that just loads the card information into our system and returns you a token. Alternatively, you can go out for an authorization for $0, which will go all the way out to the card brands Visa, MasterCard, Amex, and Discover. Check out the presentation on tokenization, how to acquire them, how to use them. It covers the pros and cons of all those things and other ways to use the tokens. You can also search by the tokens and use web services to pull down all the details for a given token as well. So the developer's website is available with a lot of information on how to process transactions and pull reports. I encourage you to take a look through that. And we also have encrypting hardware. Let me go back a little bit, see if I skipped a slide here. The developer's tools, as I mentioned, are all these applications that we already have. And the encrypting hardware can be chip readers, keypads, pin pads, and even magstripe readers. There's a variety of hardware available that does that for you. I encourage you to take a look through all of those, and our APIs support all that encrypting hardware. So it's real simple to use our APIs or to use our applications and take the data out of these encrypted devices and send it to us, or to use hosted payment pages or JavaScript. We've got a wide variety of ways to capture this information from the initial transaction, and once you've captured it from the initial transaction, you can store our tokens and the expiration dates and remain completely out of scope. So I hope this gives you an idea of a lot of the options of technologies that are available to reduce your PCI footprint, and you find that useful. And again, once you get the tokens, check out the video that goes into details about how to use them and how to acquire them from each of those web services. There's downloads of the sample code that can help you with a lot of this, and a lot of them show you how to process using a token, and of course the developer resources URLs are here. And thank you for watching this video of SlimCity PCI tokenization and ways to reduce your PCI footprint.